Hi, my name is Craig Rosasco. I'm an attorney in the state of New York, and I handle workers' compensation and disability claims. Today we're going to talk about independent contractors versus employees. Who's covered and who's not is the big question. I'm going to answer those questions for you today. Now, typically, an employee is covered underneath the employer's workers' compensation claim. However, if you're hired as an independent contractor, you're not covered underneath that employer's workers' compensation claim. We're going to go over it today. Once again, for-profit employees are typically covered underneath workers' compensation, meaning that if you work for an employer, you're typically covered. They take taxes out of your pay. You're covered under those circumstances. There are different factors that the Workers' Compensation Board will consider when making a determination whether or not you're an employee, which would make you covered underneath the workers' compensation system, or an independent contractor, which would leave you out of the system and out to fend for yourself. The first factor that the board typically uses is the right of control. Who controls what hours you work? Who directs the type of work? Who's telling you, Joe, go take that box over there and move it over there? If your employer has control over those types of things, typically you're an employee. The second factor that the Workers' Compensation Board will look into is how you're paid. We've all seen the employer come into court and say, I paid that gentleman with a 1099 and he's an independent contractor. The answer is just because you paid by 1099 doesn't mean that your employee is an independent contractor. It doesn't matter if you pay cash, whether or not there's a 1099. We want to know, was the person paid hourly, daily? All those type of things go into whether or not the person is an employee or an independent contractor. Another factor that they use is tools and supplies. Does your employer supply the sheetrock for the job site? Did they supply all the tools? Or did you go down to Home Depot, buy 8 boards of sheetrock and a bucket full of drywall compound and put all the work up yourself? Well, if you did, there's a very good chance you may be an independent contractor. The last thing that we need to discuss today is the right to hire and fire. If your employer has the right to hire and fire you, typically you're an employee. Now, all these factors are taken into consideration, and ultimately the determination is made by a judge. Why am I telling you this? Because you've got questions and I've got the answers. Independent contractor versus employee is a very difficult issue, and it's normally only resolved at trial. The ultimate determination is going to be by a judge. So you're going to need me. I want you to call me. I can reach you at 1-877-NYDB-LAW or on the internet at www.nydisabilitylaw.com. If you like this information that I just gave you, feel free to press the like button on the bottom of the screen. It'll send it out to all your other coworkers and independent contractor friends that need to know this information in order to survive through the system. Thanks for listening.